Hey everyone, my name is Alex and welcome to another Civilization video. Now, Firaxis have done many a Civilization spin-off game over the years, including the likes of Colonization and Beyond Earth, and there's a reasonable chance that they could actually be working on a brand one like right now. Today then we are going to look at some of the most creative and best ideas that myself and you the viewers have come up with for what a new Civilization spin-off game could look like. By the way, thank you to everybody who took part in this video, and if you do want to take part in a future video, maybe you missed the chance to do it with this one, then make sure that you subscribe to the channel and keep an eye out for when I mention these sort of things, either in videos or on the community post section of the channel, because it's always cool to get you guys involved. One of the best parts of the mainline Civ games is that they operate so freely within history and our timeline. You can literally play as the United States of America in the ancient era or Babylon in the modern era, and each game starts with a completely blank page and a blank map. This is one of Civilization's unique points, and it does work brilliantly. However, could the mechanics of Civilization also work well in a set period, and perhaps in a set conflict, just like other games do, such as Crusader Kings or Europa Universalis, for example? Now, to highlight what I mean with this idea, I want to focus in specifically on the idea of a Civilization World War II game. Now, fans of Civ 6 have for a long time discussed the possibility of a World War II scenario in Civ 6, but such an idea is actually more than big enough to encompass its own game. The game could include the world map, a variation of campaigns where players can impact history, unique and specialized units from key nations, a contemporary tech tree, in-depth politics and diplomacy mechanics, Civ mechanics such as turn-based tile gameplay, plus so much more. In my opinion, Civ focusing in on a specific set of wars in a time period could actually work really well and would be a nice twist on what we are used to and offer something a little bit arguably more creative and a bit different than something like Beyond Earth might do. Of course, before we explore any more new content and creative ideas, I do think it's worth dedicating a whole point to mentioning that there could always be a sequel to something like Sid Meier's Pirates, Civilization Colonization, or Civilization Beyond Earth. Now, all these games, well, maybe Pirates was a lot different, but Colonization and Beyond Earth did work well as Civilization spin-offs, and it would be foolish of me not to have a possible sequel take a place on this list. Now, out of all of these possible suggestions, the one I think I'd like to see most is some of the colonization mechanics experimented with further. I do remember playing Colonization when I was a lot younger. I enjoyed it, and maybe there is legs in creating something like that and giving that a sequel. Next up, I want to mention a possible Civilization city builder. Now, this wouldn't be a totally new concept, so to speak, considering Civ City Rome was a city builder, but it would be quite the change in pace from the usual Civilization games and would probably require some pretty big changes to the fundamental mechanics, such as possibly a move away from turn-based strategy to real-time strategy gameplay. Now, what really draws me to the city builder idea is that Civ does history best. Why not have the ability to build up cities from different historical periods from across the world, making this city builder unique? Maybe instead of building up an entire civilization as a leader from somewhere in history like we do in Civ 6, players could compete with rivals from across history to build the best city. I really do love city builders. Micromanaging all aspects of your city and its population can be a ton of fun when the game is good, and combining some elements of Civ with this could make that experience amazing. For me, any such game should progress through eras as Civ 6 or other city builders such as Tropico do, with certain cities having advantages in different periods. Ancient civilizations could get the bulk of their bonuses right at the start of the game, whereas civilizations that have flourished in more modern times could get the bulk of their bonuses towards the end. I think the team at Firaxis are incredibly talented, and I'd love to see them deploy those talents on a project that mixes the usual style of Civilization games with something like a city builder. Now, this next idea is pretty much the first viewer idea I have put in this video, and that is a Civ crossover game. Now, this was brought by Eld Bex. Also, Matthew Stevens touched on something a little bit similar, so thank you very much for those comments. Now, a Civ crossover could be a great idea both for players and for the game's success, as any crossover type game would be fun for at least a portion of Civ's current player base, whilst also making new points of first contact with brand new players. Civilization Revolution is a sort of good example of this because it's exactly what happened with me. I played Civ Rev as sort of crossover between Civilization and console essentially, and I loved it so much that pretty much now I throw money at Firaxis every time they bring out an expansion, and I play the PC games a lot. So it was that crossover with the console platforms with Civ Rev, that simplified version of Civ, that got me pretty much buying in to the format of the games, but now I play obviously on PC with Civilization 6. Now, though Civilization Revolution or a possible future Civ Rev isn't technically a crossover game, I guess, it does get my point across about dragging new players in and how crossovers work. Elbex made a more creative suggestion, such as a Nintendo Switch crossover with Civilization, Mario, or Zelda, something like that. And also feel free to work your favourite series into a possible Civ game down in the comments. I would love to see what your most creative suggestions are, but if you could pick two franchises, two series to cross over, one's got to be Civilization, but what would the other one be? Let me know in the comments. The final suggestion I want to mention today is one which wouldn't totally be my thing, but I do think it's a good idea, and a few commenters did leave this one. So, for example, Robert left down in the comments that the spin-off he would like to see is a fantasy-type Civilization game, including fantasy people such as elves, vampires, and possibly even yetis. The game could offer an interesting spin on the bog-standard Civ 6 mechanics and gameplay, whilst also offering far more creative freedom to the developers away from the confines of history to manufacture lots of brilliant new mechanics, which maybe they can't play about with too much in a standard Civilization game. I wouldn't be totally surprised to see Firaxis come out with something like this either. In recent times, the dev team have played about with crazy factions in the Red Death game mode, and also included vampires in secret societies, so ideas of a game like this could very easily be circulating between them. Like I said, it probably wouldn't be totally my thing. I remember when Total War Warhammer came out, I wasn't so fussed about it, but I do think this is an idea worth a mention, and like I said, I do think there's a possibility something like this could happen. Okay, so those are some ideas for another Civilization spin-off, but what is your most creative idea? Do let me know down in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching this video today. If you want to see another one of our Civ videos, then check out the video in the box on screen right now. Also, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss another Civ video, and comment if you have any ideas you want to let me know. Thank you for watching. My name is Alex, and I will see you in another video soon.